Hey, it's Zia by Gemini, and today we're thrift flipping a dress for my friend's wedding. All right, so happy October, happy fall, happy Filipino American Heritage Month for those who celebrate. If you didn't know, October is Filipino American Heritage Month. I say that because my friends who are getting married are both Filipino American, and I would love to create something that represents some of the culture for their wedding. Fun fact, I am not Filipino. I do get that a lot though, because I do hang out with a lot of Filipinos. A lot of my friends are. My partner's Filipino as well. So I do get that a lot. I'm actually Cambodian American. But yeah, so my plan is to try to thrift flip a dress into like the dress is going to be like a base on its own. Like I can wear it like to any type of wedding. It doesn't matter if it's Filipino or not. It's just going to be a standalone piece. But I also want to wear a bolero on top of it to feature the Filipiniana dress and the terno sleeve on the bolero. So it's going to look like something like these type of sleeves. If you haven't seen them before, they're very exaggerated big sleeves. I'll go in a little bit of history later. The bolero is going to be meant to be taken off and taken on however I need to. So it could be worn separately. It could be worn together. So this dress is going to be really exciting and I'm so excited to make it. But there is a catch because I am me. So if you've been with this channel for a while and you've watched my sewing videos in the past, I am notoriously known for doing things very last minute. So I have 1 week to create this dress. It is Tuesday. I leave next Wednesday for this trip. So hopefully 7 days is enough time to create this dress. And yeah, let's get started. I think we should start. Let's go find a dress. This is option 1. It is lavender gauze number and it comes with a jacket. I'm afraid the color makes my skin look gray though. This is option 2. This is butter yellow Sunday best with a jacket, and the jacket and the top of the dress have beaded flowers on them, and there's lots of fabrics to work with, so I think this is definitely the one. Okay, so we have the dress, and I was so excited because I've been obsessed with butter yellow lately. I just love this color so much, and it brings me so much joy. Anyways, I'm going to make the top portion into like a corset type situation, and then the skirt I'll probably leave pretty plain on its own. I might flare it out a little bit if I have more material, we'll see, but I like the length as a midi kind of length already. And then for the jacket, I'm going to turn those into the terno sleeve bolero. I'm going to try to keep the embroidery of the flowers on the bottom of the sleeve here. So that's going to be really cool. So we have that matching feature from the dress and the bolero. Okay, I'm so excited. So let's talk about the plan that I'm thinking. For the top, I was thinking of something like this as part of the style that's going across my chest. I want to do it in yellow organza fabric because I want it to be more airy and more light. If I do it with the same fabric, it's going to look very heavy, especially already with the corset top. It's just going to feel like too much. So I think this is going to bring a lot of airiness to it. But yeah, I am excited. We are on the way to a couple thrift stores. I am hoping we can find it somewhere in the thrift store and I don't have to buy it new from the craft store. It is a very specific thing that I'm looking for, so I don't know, because thrifting does take usually a lot of time, a lot of patience. Sometimes you don't get lucky on the first try, so we are going to cross our fingers and see if we can find something. But yeah, worst comes to worst, I'll have to find it at the craft store. So yeah, let's go to our first stop. Wait. No way. You guys, first try? Wait, look at this watch. Stop. Oh my god, lucky girl syndrome, crazy. You guys, did that just happen? Did I just find like the fabric I wanted specifically? for the first try at this first thrift store that I go to, oh my God, universe, thrifting gods are on my side today. I'm so happy. I was like so prepared to actually go out to multiple thrift stores and try to find it. And I was like, damn, like this is really like specific. So I might have to like go to the craft store. But no. Wow. I'm so happy right now. Like this is just, that made it so easy. So like, wow. Okay. Great. I'm so excited. I'm so glad I went to this thrift store first. This one in particular is a smaller one, and it's to a charity shop, to a church, a local church. But they usually have better prices. They have more quality pieces. I'm not going sifting through a lot of junk. So I usually try to go to this one first anyways. So hot tip for thrifting for those who are newer to thrifting and don't want to do just the Goodwills, I would try to steer towards charity shops, like something for the hospital or hospice. A lot of them are through churches and stuff. So this one in particular is one of those smaller charity thrift shops. So their prices are usually a lot better than, say, Goodwill. I think Goodwill is starting to go up, and a lot of other thrift stores are starting to go up in pricing, just because it's more mainstream now. With these ones, these are a lot better pricing. The people are always super nice and very helpful. You're usually more curated pieces and more quality pieces versus sifting through all the junk that people are just donating like willy-nilly to like Goodwill or something. So generally, if you're looking into getting to thrifting and are tired of going through Goodwills and stuff in your area, I would highly recommend the smaller thrift shops. Sometimes their supply is a little bit different and not as big, but you will find some gems in there. Yeah. Particularly if the thrift store is in a more affluent side of town, you'll get a little bit more quality pieces as well. I highly also recommend estate sales if you're ready for that, because you get some really cool and unique pieces at estate sales. So yeah, hot thrifting tip for the day. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, now to get some notions. That one I probably do have to get at the craft store, so let's go to the craft store. All right, so we're going to be using two different patterns today. Both of them I got from Etsy. I will link them in the description below if you're curious too. I have one pattern for the corset and then one pattern for the bolero part. I had a little harder time finding the exact one I wanted for the bolero. The closest I found for the silhouette that I wanted, it's going to be this elven cape one I got. This was probably used for cosplay, for Ren fairs and stuff. I'm going to be just using the bodice portion of the bolero, or whatever this is called, for the chest part. I don't really need the sleeves or the cape, but I like the silhouette of what goes in here and the collar that comes with it. So I'm solely going to be cutting the pattern for that part. Okay, so I'm going to go cut this pattern, and I will take it over to VoiceOver Me to go a little bit over the terno sleeve in this video. So originally the Filipiniana dress consisted of the blouse borot and a long skirt saya. By way of Spanish and then American colonization, the style evolved to bell-shaped sleeves in the blouse, worn with a starched square fabric called a pañuelo. In the 1920s, the sleeves were flattened to what we see today, also nicknamed butterfly sleeves, as they look like butterfly wings. This change was accredited to Pesita Loncos, one of the top Filipino designers at the time. Finally, the term terno comes from the Spanish word for match and refers to the matching motifs and fabrics used for the set. There is a great two-part video summarizing this history that I'll link in the description below if you'd like to learn more. Now back to our thrift flip. So with the back of this dress, it comes with an invisible zipper, which I want to keep for the skirt. So I'm going to take the zipper, head down to the skirt, and then cut. So now I have a skirt with the zipper already installed, and I don't have to do that later. So we love little hacks and steps. Obviously I'm going to cut off this lining and then make it nice and neat, but that will come later. I might just honestly leave this alone so that I don't have to mess with this. We have all the pattern pieces cut, including the lining, and then we'll sew the lining pieces together and then the main fabric pieces together. I pin each piece right sides together to their corresponding places, and we're just going to do a straight stitch. Then press the seams open on the lining and main fabric, and then we're going to add some boning to the lining. This plastic boning I can sew right through this. I definitely recommend putting a fabric cap or something because my boning ended up poking out of the lining sometimes due to the sharp ends, even if I try to round it out with some scissors. Next, we're going to make the corset string and the loops using some 2-inch strips from the jacket sleeves. I'll sew the strips together to make a longer strip and then folded it in on itself and sew it all the way down. Then I cut off the excess, making sure not to cut to the seam I just sewed. I think I made my string about 36 inches long, which is a bit tricky to turn this right side out because it's so long. I actually sewed a string on one end on the inside, and I'm going to use that to pull the string right side out. Once it's all the way on the right side, we're going to cut that excess string off. For the loops, I essentially did the same thing and then just cut them into 4-inch strips. And then we'll arrange them on the right side of the lining into the loop pattern like so. I did a set of 5, but you can adjust to how you like it. Repeat on the opposite side of the lining as well. Then we'll sew the main fabric and lining right sides together, but leave a gap to turn it right side out after. Then close the gap by hand with a ladder stitch. So onto the skirt. Remember when I said we're going to reuse the original zipper? Well, I played myself and it was not long enough to fit my body through once I shaved the sides of the dress to make it fit my waist better. So yeah, it must have been really loopy because it was so late, so I decided it was best to go to sleep and just fix this another day. All right, it is day 3 of making this dress, and I'm really pushing it because it is Monday today. I leave for this trip Wednesday, and I still haven't packed, so I need to finish this dress today so that I can pack tomorrow, and yeah, and leave Wednesday for this trip. Last night in the rush of doing things and not thinking, I had made the skirt smaller so that it could fit me better at the waist. However, now I cut a little bit too much, so it's a little tad too tight. And the zipper that I was original on the dress is too short for my bum to fit through. The opening is not big enough to fit everything in. So I have to actually take that zipper out and install a new zipper with a longer length so it opens up the opening a little bit more and I can actually get into the skirt. So bummer. I wish I got to skip the step and that could have been done, but it is what it is. So today we're going to fix that, and we're going to be doing the bolero that can go on top. That is going to be removable. Yeah, I think that should go a lot smoother since I did practice with that already. So I think that should be fine. And yeah, wish me luck in getting this done today, guys. Why am I like this, guys? I don't know. All right, so for the bolero, we're going to be using two different patterns. I have the terno sleeve, which I had used my own measurements to make, and I will link the tutorial of the one that I used in the description below. She makes it really, really easy to make this, so very simple and very easy to follow. Then for the part that's going to be attaching to my neck and my shoulders, I'm going to be using another pattern from Etsy. I want to use this sleeve. I'm going to use the pattern of the bottom of this jacket. So I have the flower pattern on there so I can match the dress. Yeah, I'm really glad this dress came with the jacket. So I really had the most fabric as much as possible, and I was able to do a matching sleeve with the dress. It's going to be really, really cute. I'm really excited. So bless whoever's auntie donated this dress, and I'm able to give it another life. So, So we're going to sew the stabilizer onto the fabric on the bottom hem. I also added a strip up top to provide more of a 3D structure, though I don't think it was necessary looking back on it now. Just a little brief interruption and PSA to be careful when sewing, because this is probably the 7th or 8th time I've been myself with a needle. Ow. Ah! Okay, back to sewing. For the top of the sleeve, we're going to pleat towards the center of the sleeve so it looks something like this. Mine is a bit messy right now, but you're going to look super nice once it's pressed. To pleat the top of our sleeve, we're starting at the top center, and then we're going to pleat towards the right side. So we're going to take some fabric, tuck it under towards the center, then pin in place. Going a little bit closer, we're going to take again a 1/2 inch of the fabric, tuck it over towards the center, pin, and then repeat a couple more times. To pleat on the left hand side, we're going to repeat it, still folding it in towards the center. So it should be mirroring the other side. Then we're going to sew around with a straight stitch. Once we press our pleats and then tuck in the stabilizer into the sleeve, it's going to look really nice. And then I found I should do one more pleat, so I'm going to add one more on this side as well. In the original tutorial, the stabilizer would be an exact copy of your main fabric, but since I got such a thick stabilizer, I knew it wouldn't pleat well, so I added a separate strip as a fix to give it some more of a 3D structure. This is totally not necessary, it's just because I got such a thick stabilizer. If you got a thinner stabilizer, you can totally sew it in with your fabric. After that, let's sew the sleeve closed at the bottom with a French seam. We have a good seam on the outside, but we also have a clean seam on the inside. Now let's work on how the sleeves are going to connect to the body. Like I said earlier, we're going to be using pieces from the cape pattern, which I'll also link below. I have my pieces cut, and now we'll hem the appropriate edges. Now I'll sew these sides together. So let's move on to the collar. One fabric copy here, and the other one with the iron-on facing. We're going to place some right sides together and sew the sides on the top of the collar. To help this lay flat a little bit better, I'm going to make some clips along the curved edge and clipping the corners, being careful not to clip into the seam that I just did. Then we'll turn it right side out and give it a good press, and then sew it onto our sheer pieces. Next, I'm going to sew our collar and cape pieces to the sleeves right sides together. Lastly, I added 2 loops and sew in pearl buttons to finish off the collar, and we're done. I really pushed it for time this one. It is 10:30 and I haven't packed, and I leave for the airport in like 8 hours. So let's get packing and then leave for the airport, and let's get to this wedding.